Welcome to KRA's The Hub, the official podcast of KRA Corporation. And now get ready to hear workforce topics and trends you need to know on the go.
All right, well, welcome to KRA's The Hub podcast. This is the host, Jonathan Overall, and today we are continuing our series on getting to know KRA, and we are walking through different aspects of KRA as a company, and we're excited to bring different episodes with different leaders, some of my colleagues with KRA, to the Hub, and talking about who we are as a company and what the work and what the impact looks like in a real way. And today I'm joined by Derrick Colbert, the Managing Director of Operational Excellence, as well as Shanavia Moore, the Director of Workforce Operations here at KRA. Derrick, Shanavia, welcome to the Hub.
Hello, Jonathan. Thank you for having us. It's good to be back with you again.
Hi, Jonathan. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. And Derrick, again, it's welcome back. Shanavia, welcome for the first time to the Hub. I want to start off by both of you taking an opportunity. We'll start with you, Derrick. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what brought you into workforce development, and what gets you excited about the work that you're doing in your unique roles within the operations.
Thank you for that question. So for the listening audience, here again, my name is Derrick Colbert. I have the pleasure of serving as the Managing Director of Operational Excellence here at KRA Corporation. And what does that long title mean? That means that when my team go home and go to sleep, that means that I'm still awake working. It's like, that's a joke. In all seriousness, I'm really responsible for making sure that we meet and exceed all of our contractual benchmarks through setting the overall strategy for the programmatic operations unit here at KRA. What got me into workforce development, I will say that I did not go to school for workforce development. I went to school for business development and business administration. But throughout the course of my journey within the community economic development space, I fell into workforce like many people in workforce does, right? And I realized that all the work that I'd done throughout my career was workforce development / economic development. So I spend a lot of time working for local government here in Washington, D.C., working for local nonprofits here in the DMV area as well. And I just fell into workforce development. Workforce development for me, I hear the word workforce, but for me, it's more of economic development, meaning that we are really helping our residents in every area that we operate in develop economically, so they are able to take care of themselves, not only themselves but also their family as well, and truly put themselves on a path for upward economic mobility. So that's what workforce development means to me. And what gets me excited is really about just seeing the results of the work, meaning that when you run into a former job seeker in a grocery store or in the mall or at a sporting event, and you see the smile on their face that they are able to partake in those kind of activities, not alone, and also with their family members as well, that's what gets me excited. So that's who I am, and that's the work that I do here at KRA, and I just look forward to continuing this work here at KRA for many, many years to come.
And Shanavia, give us a little bit about your background and what brought you into workforce and what excites you about the work that you do at KRA.
Absolutely. That's a very powerful question, Jonathan. Before I get into that answer, again, I'm Shanavia Moore, Director of Workforce Operations here at KRA. And in my role, I provide programmatic and operational oversight for all of our workforce programs. Very similar to Mr. Colbert's story, I didn't set out in workforce development. Honestly, I often say that this profession found me. I did not find it. I've spent the entirety of my career, over 15 years now, in the field of workforce development and human services. That wasn't my original plan. I actually set out to be a prosecutor. Growing up in the 80s and seeing what was happening in our communities, the drug epidemic, and crime. And so in my mind, rehabilitation meant that I needed to put myself in a position to rid our communities of what was happening in that manner, and that imprisonment would be the caveat to rehabilitating individuals and reintegrating them into our society. And of course, I later learned that that's not actually what true rehabilitation looks like. So after earning my bachelor's degree, I put law school on pause for a while, or so I thought, and I began working in child and family services. That's when everything shifted for me. I started to see people not as bad, but as individuals shaped by circumstance, poverty, trauma, and systemic barriers. I realized that when people are given the opportunity to learn and grow and access resources, that they can absolutely transform their lives. And that's what real rehabilitation looks like. Eventually, from Child and Family Services, I transitioned into a nonprofit that delivered Department of Labor funded workforce programs. And that's where, for me, it clicked. Workforce development isn't just about getting someone a job, it's about restoring dignity, creating pathways, reuniting families, and strengthening our communities. It's deeply connected to housing, education, mental health, and equity. And these are all things that I saw firsthand, right? This passion led me to pursue a master's in public administration. And so that focus was government and nonprofit. And honestly, I've never looked back. I left law behind because I realized that justice looks different when you're empowering people and not punishing them. And so now, even though I'm more behind the scenes in my role at KRA, it still brings me great joy knowing that the strategies, tools, and systems we implement are helping change lives. There's this quote that says, "Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime." That's what workforce development is to me, equipping people with the skills and support they need to better their future.
Thank you both for that overview. And one of the exciting things about talking and meeting people and just discussing their career journey and workforce is that origin story. And you both shared your origin story of how you got into workforce development, what excites you about that work. And as we talk more in today's episode, we're really talking about what you do as the backbone of the work that's happening on the ground. You guys are operations leaders that support and ensure that consistency for a company like KRA that is working in multiple markets throughout the country. And so I want to start with you, Derrick. Part of your title has the word excellence in it. And you talked about your role and a little bit about what you do, but talk to us about what does operational excellence really mean at KRA? And what is your approach to seeing that manifested in the day-to-day operations that you lead and provide oversight?
Thank you for that question. Here again, another great question from you, Jonathan. So for me, when I think about excellence, I think about the spirit of excellence. I think about how you show up every day to make sure that you leaving it all on the floor, to use a sports analogy. And because at the end of the day, job seekers wake up in the morning depending on KRA to help them navigate life so they are able to put themselves in a position to take care of themselves and also their families as well, and really put themselves on a path of economic mobility as well, so they could be tax-paying citizens and truly contribute to the overall economy of the areas and the regions that they live in as well. So the way that the approach that we utilize here at KRA is really more about to make sure that you put yourselves in the shoes of the job seekers, to really understand the story of the job seeker, to really understand that they are not looking for a handout, but they are looking for a hand up, to really help them develop their skill sets or get reskilled so they truly can participate in a local workforce as well. So every day I encourage the team to position themselves to see the job seeker as the end user of our service delivery model here at KRA, to really make sure that everything that we do from the time that the job seeker open the door from the outreach strategies that we employ to the way that we engage businesses, to the way that we make sure that the end user, meaning the job seeker, is positioned to contribute to the overall economic growth of the areas and the regions that they live in as well. So the team works day in and day out to make sure that we deliver exceptional service to our job seekers. Not mediocre, but exceptional services to our job seekers as well. So when I think about excellence, that's what comes to my mind right there as well. To really make sure that we position our job seekers to contribute to the overall economy in a very meaningful way, that they can look back and help someone else come that may be facing similar situations and circumstances that they face as well, to say, you know, I have an organization that can help you even get a job, get a better paying job, but not only a job, but also help you get a career as well, and really help you get reskilled up and retooled up so you truly can continue to climb the ladder as it relates to your career success as well. So that's what excellence means to me.
I like that, Derrick, and I like what you started out with and led that segment with, the spirit of excellence, and how that is threaded through the department, the work, and the end programs and workforce solutions that serve the actual customers. Now, Shanavia, I want to throw this next question to you, because I know you work very closely on a daily basis with the operational project leadership. And your goal and your objective is to ensure, as an extension of the department, that vision of excellence is continually threaded through the programs, but really up close and working through the day-to-day things that arise within the operations. Talk to us about your approach to ensuring and supporting the project leaders to ensure that things are running smoothly and that they're continually pursuing and operating on track with that aspiration of being excellent.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Jonathan. So for me, bringing a vision of excellence to life across KRA's programs really comes down to being intentional and consistent. I work closely with our operational leaders every day. And what I've learned is that excellence doesn't happen by chance. It's built through clear expectations, accountability, and a culture that values both people and outcomes. While outcomes are at the forefront of what we do, but we also have to have value for the people that we serve, and not just the people that we serve, but the people that we work with every day, right? And so for me, some of the must-haves include strong communication, operational structure, people first leadership, and adaptability. So when we talk about strong communication, everyone needs to know the why behind what we're doing, right? Not just what to do, but why it matters. The alignment helps us to drive consistency across our programs. Operational structure, we can't deliver excellent services without strong systems. So that means that we have to have clear workflows, we have to have clear performance benchmarks in place, and tools like our trackers that we use to help us monitor progress and make informed decisions when we're having to modify the way that we do our work on a day-to-day basis. And then people first leadership, we're in a people business. That means equipping our staff with the training and the support and encouragement that they need to be effective in their roles, especially when they're serving clients who may be navigating serious barriers. Our clients come into us every day with serious real life issues, and we have to be able to help them to navigate those spaces in a way that also lends to their success as it relates to obtaining employment and being able to provide for their families, right? And then there's the aspect of adaptability. Each site and community is unique. So while the vision remains constant here at KRA, our approach needs to be flexible, listening to our local teams and adjusting strategies when needed, and never forgetting or never getting too comfortable. I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, excellence is all about execution. It's not about having a great plan on paper. It's about doing the work every day, to make sure our programs are truly making an impact. And the impact is not just in the numbers, but it's a true impact as it relates to the development of those that we work with, and the economic development of the community.
That's great, Shanavia. I'm glad that you hit on something there and talked about the uniqueness of the markets, the local economies that KRA works in. They're diverse. There's some common threads because we're in the same country, but for the most part, different regions have things that are unique about them. My next question for Derrick is based on that uniqueness that we see throughout the country. As an operations department, there's got to be consistency. There's got to be an approach. When you talk about KRA's approach in your own words, what makes the workforce services that KRA offers unique, so that when a business or a job seeker walks through the Career Center and receives services from the KRA staff, what is unique about the services that KRA provides?
So what I would say is, and I'm going to answer this question and kind of correlate it to one of my favorite, one of my children's favorite fast food spots, Chick-fil-A. So when you go into Chick-fil-A, you get that customer experience. They greet you at the door with a smile. They acknowledge you when you walk through the door. They make you feel welcome. So that's the approach that we take here at KRA. When every job seeker signs up for the services that we provide here at KRA, it's a very unique service. We make them feel welcome from the time that they sign up, from the time that they are actually complete training, and also from the time that they are able to move into a job or a career opportunity as well. So throughout that experience, we check in with them on a frequent basis to make sure that they are receiving the services that we said that we was going to provide for them. We make sure that they are equipped with the actual things that they need to remove the barriers that they have been faced with while they've been out of the workforce as well. We make sure that we stay in contact and stay engaged with them, not only when it's time to make sure that they have signed up for a training, completed a training, or they have went on them job interviews. We make sure that we engage with them. We make sure that they feel a part of the KRA family. We make sure that they understand that this is not a job for our workers, but this is a life mission for everyone that works here at KRA as well. So that's what I would say that makes KRA unique as well. But not only that, with several other things that I would like to touch on as well, such as that we have some KRA employees with the lived experience as well, that can relate to the job seekers, that understands the plight that they are currently facing as well, the hardships that they are facing as well, to make sure that they can make ends meet so they can pay rent, so they can make sure that they keep a roof over their head, make sure that they pay their light bills, but also not only that, to make sure that they are being able to provide for their children and their families so they can have a very healthy family dynamics as well. So when you think about the approach that we take here at KRA, it's just not your cookie cutter approach, excuse me. It's more around making sure that the job seeker feel that we are truly invested into their well-being and their overall success as well. And you just can't get that anywhere. You have to have the heart for this work, and a lot of times, Shanavia and I say this a lot of times, yes, the work is hard, but this is heart work. Your hearts have to be in it. So when we think about the individuals that we employ here at KRA, we look for one thing. Well, we look for several things, but the determining factor is, do you have the heart for the work? Do you have the heart for the people? When a job seeker calls you, or they come into one of our career centers and they telling you their life challenges, do you just see them as another number, or do you truly see them as a human being that they are, and really helping them to develop the plan? They plan. It's not our plan, it's their plan that we help them to develop, and really make sure that they are positioning themselves to achieve the goals that they have set for themselves as well. So that's the approach that we take here at KRA. And in my words, I would say that what makes us unique as well. Not the end result, but the heart that each and every one of us possess, to make sure that we get each and every job seeker to the end result. And that means a career, so they can sustain themselves and also sustain their families as well, and contribute to the overall economy and economic value of the areas that we operate in as well. So that's what I would say that makes KRA unique.
That's great. I love the analogy of Chick-fil-A and that experience. I think we can all relate to that in experience, and a lot goes into that. And so, Derrick, as you mentioned KRA's approach and what's unique, you also mentioned the customer experience. And I want to stay on that track, Shanavia, with you, and talk about, what does it really look like, as you're working with the leadership of our local projects in prioritizing for job seekers and businesses that customer experience? What are some of the elements that go into the priorities, the goals, and the objectives, and how that is being managed? You talked about accountability earlier. What are some of the mechanisms or the approach that KRA uses to ensure that experience is prioritized in a tangible way?
Absolutely. So, we don't want to just deliver a service or a set of services. We want to deliver experiences where people are left feeling like they've been supported, that they are respected, and that they are empowered. When we talk about how we go about accomplishing that, and I think Derrick hit on this a little bit, is that services are personalized. No two individuals are the same. No two cases are the same, if you will. So we take the time to really understand each customer's goals, their challenges, and their strengths, so that our support is tailored and meaningful to the individual. Um, for us, it's not about just checking a box. It's meeting people where they are and helping them to truly move through their situation and their circumstance. And then we prioritize being present and dependable. Whether it's returning a phone call or following up on a job lead, helping a business navigate hiring incentives, we want all of our customers to feel like they're a priority, and that's because they are. Um, we in all of our projects, we create a welcoming environment. From the moment someone steps into our centers, the atmosphere should feel inviting, respectful, and professional. That includes how our staff greets them, how we maintain our space, and how we make sure every interaction adds value. When you ask the question, how do we monitor this and how do we hold each individual accountable? Well, we talked earlier about trackers and metrics and things like that. And so those are some of the primary accountability tools and measures that we use, right? But it's also having those check-ins and helping our leaders and our teams to navigate those tough spaces, and helping them to understand what it looks like to be the boots on the ground, and what it looks like to truly serve the community and gain a true understanding of the individuals that we serve. They're not just a number. It's not just about checking a box. It is truly servicing the entirety of the family unit and the individuals that come to us. And it's not just the individuals that come to us seeking employment opportunities. We also want to create that same space for our business leaders, and helping them to engage us so that they are resources for the people or the individuals in the community that we serve. So getting to know our business sector and what their needs are, and what they're looking for in employee candidates, and how we can ensure that the individuals that we are referring to them can be successful, and not just be successful in that role, but also individuals who will be open to growth, and also learning more about what their growth opportunities are, and how we align our clients to be able to obtain and achieve those opportunities. So ultimately, we want job seekers and businesses to walk away saying that I got what I needed and I felt good about the experience. And so that's what success looks like. And that's what it looks like holding our teams accountable for the work that we do on a day-to-day basis.
That's great. Thank you for that, Shanavia. Derrick, I want to talk to you about performance. Part of being excellent and providing great services comes down to performance. And that matters in this world. It matters in terms of the sustainability of continuing to do the work that we do, is the ability to perform. But we know that impact goes beyond just the data. How, in your leadership here at KRA within operations, how do you balance in leading the difference between hitting the numbers, getting the data, and actually changing lives and communities for the better?
Wow. Great question again, Jonathan. You came with some great questions today, huh? So when I think about that question and the approach that that we take here at KRA, and the strategies that I have worked to implement here at KRA as well, I would say that the approach is very simple. And what I mean by being simple is that at the end of the day, we get paid to solve people problems. So if we keep that in mind, then we will always make sure that we meet our performance numbers, because the performance numbers are actually the people that we serve. So that's the first part to that question. The second part is we make sure that we equip. The message is, I apologize, and I'm gonna back up. The approach is very simple. We make sure that the approach is very simple. The message is this: to equip as many job seekers as possible with the skills, and also helping them to reskill, to make sure that they are positioned to actively participate in the job market and provide for themselves and their families as well. And that's economic development. That's the message. But secondly to that is, we want to make sure that all of our project leaders understands KRA vision, which is to engage businesses, develop workers, and nurture stronger communities. That's the vision of KRA. And the second part to that is to make sure that all of our project leaders understands and follows the mission of KRA to provide businesses with trained and a reliable workforce by preparing job seekers for today's competitive workforce and global economy. So to make sure that we balance that approach, we make sure that each project leader understands the vision and mission of KRA, which is simple, is rooted in the We All work, is rooted in TANF work, is rooted in community economic development work. And that's the work that we do here at KRA. So when we understand that each job seeker is not only a number, but they are human as well, we humanize the actual performance benchmarks that we are charged to make sure that we achieve on a yearly basis as well. Don't look at that just as numbers. Look at it as how many humans are you truly helping to get skilled up, reskilled up, and moved into career-sustaining opportunities. So that's the message that Shanavia and I deploy across all of our projects to make sure that cascades down not from the actual corporate leaders to the project leaders to our frontline staff, not only on a daily basis, but it's now, I apologize, not only on a weekly basis, but on a daily basis as well. So that's the approach that we take to make sure that we strike that balance. But not only that, we achieve this through proactive engagement with the business community as well. And one of the ways that we are proactively engaging with the business community is through our business roundtable series that we host on a quarterly basis as well, that we bring the business leaders together and the businesses within each community together as well to truly hear from them, to truly understand their pain points, to understand the kind of talent that they are looking for, so we can make sure that we are being good partners to make sure that we are helping our job seekers get skilled up and helping them get skilled up so we can match them with the actual employment opportunities that the business community is informing us that they have as well. Because we all know this, you can help job seekers get skilled up and get trained up. They can get several certifications and things like that as well. But if they are not being properly matched with the opportunities that exist out there, then they are just going through training after training after training until they are able to land a opportunity that truly fulfills them. We don't want to make sure that they only get a job. We want to make sure that they get the right job that helps them sustain themselves, that translate from a job into a career as well. So that's the message that we deploy here every day. Don't look at the numbers. If you focus on the end result, meaning that we are helping every job seeker that come through our doors to get skilled up, trained up, and matched with the right employment opportunity, then we will always make sure that we meet our contractual benchmarks and our performance metrics at the end of the year. So that's the approach that we take here, John.
That's great. Yeah, thank you, Derrick. I like what you said about humanizing those end results, those data points that we're looking at, and that involves engagement with the business community as well. Well, I'm transitioning now to really our last question, which is a two-part question, and I want to give the first part to you, Shanavia, and the last part to you, Derrick, and really let this be your closing message to our audience here today. But I want to start with you, Shanavia. When we talk about collective impact, obviously the work that we're doing is not in a silo. We actually are doing a episode within this series about partnership, but there's a connection there with operations and our leadership and the local projects that we do work through. When we talk about collective impact, what does that mean to you as you're working and planning strategy with local leaders? What does that collective impact look like in terms of the planning and the local strategy?
When we talk about the collective impact and what that means, again, it's about building intentional alignment between the vision with the leadership and execution across all levels of the project. It's not about just saying we're partners. It's about making sure our strategies and our operations and our goals are actively connected at the local level, right? When I'm working with project leaders in the field, collective impact shows up in the way we listen to community needs, the way that we collaborate with our stakeholders, and then the way that we build strategies that reflect those realities. It means operations isn't just directing from the top. We're adjusting, we're flexible, we're empowering the local teams to lead with insight and impact. At its best, collective impact, I would say, is when our infrastructure meets local innovation, right? And together we create something that's stronger, more sustainable, and truly community driven. When we're listening to what the needs of the community is, not just the clients that we serve, but what the economic needs are, what the holistic needs are of our clients, the holistic needs of our business community, then that is where that collective impact comes in to play, because we are foreshadowing what we're seeing and then answering those needs, and strategizing, putting a plan into play that helps to bring about change, and not just change, effective change that is meaningful to everyone involved, not just our team, not just our staff, not just our leaders, but more importantly, the business community and the community that we serve.
Thank you, Shanavia. And Derrick, in closing, you talked earlier about the business roundtable and bringing business together within the partnership arena. What's your approach? What's the key, looking holistically throughout the work that we do, to really bringing the right partners together and aligning everyone behind that message, that cause, to make a difference in the community?
Great question, and I'm gonna try my best to answer that question. So when you think about strategic partnerships, when you think about collective impact, when you think about the overall growth of a community, of a region, of a city, of a state, no entity can do it alone. You have to make sure that you have the right strategic partnership. When I think about the right, when I use the word right, I will categorize that as partners that have a understanding or have a heart for developing the community for the better, and not only coming in and trying to figure out what they can take from the community, but how they can leave the community better than what they found. And you have a lot of businesses that have that social mission of making sure that they come in and help revitalize communities for the better. So when I think about the kind of partners that KRA has historically worked with and currently working with, and the partners that we are looking to work with in the future, I would say it have to be that synergy there. They have to align with KRA's mission and vision of making sure that we leave communities better than when we found them, and making sure that they not only put their money up, but they put the sweat equity up into it as well. That they show up for the meetings. That they just don't only write the checks, but they show up for the meetings. That they are actively engaged in the community, doing job fairs and hosting community events, and showing up at the local meetings, community meetings as well, and making their voices heard. When I think about collective impact and when I think about partnerships, that's my vision for that, right? And when we all come together, and I'm about to age myself when I use this analogy right here. When you think about the cartoon and it went into a movie, the Transformers, right? It was each individual car or each individual robot that they had their own powers, their own superpowers. But when they came together as the collective one, they was able to defeat the mighty enemies that was up against them. KRA cannot do this work alone. The business community cannot do this work alone. It takes all of us to come together as one and to fight against the enemy. And for me, I would say the enemy is poverty. To come together to reverse the socioeconomic ills that exist within the communities that KRA operates in, so we can make sure that we are working ourselves out of a job, because now we have been able to impact that community in a very mighty way that has left that community better off than what we found it. And that means making sure that we help as many job seekers as humanly possible get life-sustaining wages so they can become not only renters, but become homeowners, become the next wave of business owners that can truly help those communities develop and thrive for years and years to come. So their children won't be the next wave of job seekers, but they will actually be the employers for the job seekers. So that's my thought and vision around collective impact.
Derrick, Shanavia, I want to thank you for bringing it home. I believe you walked us through the complete journey, the arc of how operational excellence is truly making an impact in the community. And so thank you for the work that you're doing, your expertise, your insight, and your perspective today in giving us a look behind the scenes of what it looks like, your approach, KRA's approach, and what that impact is doing in local communities and really what it's all about. And so I want to thank you for being here today on the Hub and for sharing that with our audience.
Thank you, Jonathan. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you for listening to KRA's The Hub. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. To learn more about KRA Corporation, visit www.kra.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll be back soon with a new episode.